One thing we want to look out for is just how fast this man, George Foreman, will open. As we mentioned, in his past several fights, he hasn't gone in the past 4 years beyond 2 rounds in any fight. Can Ali dance and stay away from him? Is George Foreman's thundering punches going to be too much for him? Is the left hook that is so devastating, the tremendous left hook, going to stop Ali? Here we go, Ali quickly across the round.
Round one. Ali. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another live episode of Real Fans, Real Talk. I'm in a good mood today. Myself and the stat man, we are fresh off of the New York premiere of Grudge Match. So, of course, we were out there with all of the stars on the red carpet. You know, again, I mean, outside of myself and Statman, who were probably the two biggest stars, we kind of stole the show. But Stallone was there, De Niro was there, you know, some boxing greats. Larry Holmes was there. Even Paulie Malignaggi coming off the battle for Brooklyn. He was out there. A lot of big names, but none bigger than myself. And the man sitting to my right, Mark the Stat Man Skevich. What's going on?
What's going on, everyone? Great to be back for another live episode of Real Fans, Real Talk. And 'tis the season, ladies and gentlemen. It is December. It is that time of year. You got to get into that spirit when the cowgirls start losing in December and start choking, as always. But before we get into the sports news, we got a very special guest, one of the latest volunteers over in the charity GDS, D. Barnes, joining us for this episode. What's going on,
Thank you for the warm welcome, fellas. Happy to be here. I hear some color to our Real Fans, Real Talk. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna jump into the sports thing. However, see, this is actually really good for me. I love this part of the show because I don't have to give Statman a Red Sox hat to wear since he lost shot for shot last week. He just got a cut. Look at him, fresh out the barbershop, clean as a whistle.
Looking smooth.
But what I will do is, there's a guy in the NBA. He's been ranked number 1 for the past 4 years now. He's a 4-time MVP. You know, back-to-back NBA champion, Finals MVP twice in a row. But the stat man just can't stand him for some reason. So what I did was I brought back our very special "It's a LeBron Thing You Wouldn't Understand" T-shirt, because the stat man just does not understand the greatness that is LeBron James. And stat man, would you do the honor, please, of putting on your famous "It's a LeBron Thing"
as
T-shirt?
As president of the LeBron James Hate Club, I do not enjoy this moment, but I don't have to wear it as a bib at least. So.
Hey, listen, at least it fits you this time.
Don't worry, he doesn't even have a college education.
That's the main thing. All right, stat man.
Thank you, D.
Right,
I appreciate that.
You gotta find beauty in everything, fellas. Gotta find beauty in everything.
Look at that. Yeah, this is a classy guy right here. Statman, you are one classy individual. It's a LeBron thing you definitely would not understand.
I don't want to understand it.
Listen, LeBron was in action last night too, put up some big numbers, 39 and 9. But we're going to get into a little bit of football before we hit the basketball, because I know you want to talk about your Knicks a little bit later in the show. But right now, we had a very, very big Monday night game, which I'm very happy about because my Ravens are still in the wild card slot right now. They still got to do their thing and continue to win. They got the Patriots coming up, but Justin Tucker, the leg on Justin Tucker, wins the game with a 61-yard field goal on the road in Detroit. Oh my goodness, Statman, what did you think about the game?
Well, he outscored the whole Ravens team because he has 18 points for Justin Tucker and 16 for the entire Lions offense there. And anytime you kick over 60 yards, it's something phenomenal. We had the record broken earlier by the Broncos kicker, 64 yards. And you have Justin Tucker, who hit it from all differences within the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s.
I fell asleep on the 50-yard kick, so I didn't see the 60, but I heard about it.
Yeah, it's definitely what was a big game, and again, we are in the hunt. But what do you guys make of the Detroit Lions and their lackluster performance when they had a chance to really put their stamp on the NFC North, since both Jay Cutler and Aaron Rodgers have been hurt for a couple of weeks, but they just could not seem to get a win? What do you think, D?
I mean, I really don't feel it has anything to do with Cutler or Rogers. You're basically playing yourself. You're shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, Lions are a good team. I mean, they're working hard. They had to go against what was the Giants, talking a lot of smack, talking about they had horrible defense. So they had a lot of rivalries. They got a lot of people getting in their heads. So that they're probably still finding themselves. I think pretty soon, end of the season, they'll show improve.
Stat man.
After the first 9 games, I mentioned last week all the different stats about their turnovers, how they were worst in the league with turnover ratio. So like D said about shooting themselves in the foot, they just keep giving away those turnovers.
Yeah.
So that's a big factor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say.
You know what? Maybe they got maybe the cowgirl syndrome in December is a little contagious there.
Yeah, because Stafford is definitely rivaling Tony Romo right now for the worst quarterback in December.
They have Reggie Bush in the backfield.
They do have Reggie Bush in the backfield. They have
might as well
the
put
best
Barry Sanders back there because they didn't use
wide
him
receiver.
either. So
Yeah,
Reggie Bush actually has 8 touchdowns in Monday Night Football out of 9 games on Monday Night Football. So Monday night he seems to shine apparently.
does seem to shine. Calvin Johnson had a decent game, 98 yards receiving,
strong.
but he did drop a crucial 2-point conversion late in the fourth quarter. Again, I'm happy because the Ravens won. And even though Calvin Johnson didn't get that 2-point conversion, it still was enough points for me to win my fantasy football game.
all that
It's the
matters.
playoffs right now, and I'm going up against Rose Clear. And you guys, you'll be
I
happy
tried
to
to
know
give her some coaching,
I
but she
knocked
just
out
wasn't following
Rose
it, so-
Clear. Yeah, in the first round of the fantasy football playoffs. So I'm back again this coming week. We having fun with this thing. You guys, the Real Fans Real Talk Fantasy Football League, we do it every year. You know, we get bigger and better because the fans are in the league, which is I think is the best thing about the Fantasy Football League. And we're going to continue to do it just like we do. If you guys
We do still have some of the fans left in the playoffs, so there is still that possibility that we'll have another newcomer come on the show, because the winner, if it's not one of us, will be whoever that fan is, as we promised. But getting back to your Ravens, though, I know before the season even started, with all the losses that the Ravens took on their defense and even their offense, losing very key pieces aside from Ray Lewis retiring. You have Anquan Bolden going to the 49ers, Reed leaving. So a lot of different pieces missing. So I didn't even see them making the playoffs.
Yeah.
They still do have a chance now. After their 4-6 start, they have won the last 4 games, so it is possible for them to get the wild card. It's going to be tough. The Chiefs already have one of those wild cards locked. It's either the Chiefs or the Broncos. And but the Chiefs, they're a one-man show right now. So even if they're definitely taking that first wild card. But Jamal Charles is leading in every major offensive stat category with rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. So I'm sure in the playoffs, when you go up against those better defenses, they're going to have somebody shadowing him the whole game. And if you shut down Jamal Charles, then it's lights out.
which is the thing is, it's hard to do because he can hurt you in the running game and in the passing game. He had 196 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns, this past week. So it's kind of rough. But what do you think, D, about Jamal Charles and his pretty much being the entire Kansas City Chiefs
one-man wrecking crew?
offense?
I mean, I feel like he's the type of player that'll exceed to his best abilities now, but he's going to rock teams to sleep because after a while, you're going to get deeper into the season. People are going to be doubling him. They're going to be focused on him. And he's going to leave a slot receiver or running back just to eat up 125 yards and just do you dirty. You can have an old school Priest Holmes. You just need Charles to get you down to that 1-yard line and have somebody score left and right. So
Now, do you think they'll go deep into the playoffs?
I don't see that happening.
You do.
I mean, to piggyback something what the stat man said back in the day, I really do give a lot of props and respect to the Ravens because a lot of people expected them to pretty much tank. You got everybody leaving, you got the voice of the locker room is gone, and a lot of people thought all that money was too heavy to weigh on Flacco's shoulders, but he's basically showing and proving now he's going to be a stand-up quarterback in years to come.
And the Ravens defense stepping it up as they have not allowed a rushing touchdown the last 4 games. So maybe even them will be one of those teams that if they cross paths with the Chiefs, they could shut down Jamal
I'm
Charles.
sure Ray Lewis is on the Skype.
And they definitely turned it up in the playoffs. I mean, no one expected them to beat the Broncos last year in the playoffs and then go on to beat
Do you
the
think that's what
Ravens.
it is, though, D? Or do you think Ray Lewis is screaming in the defense?
I think Ray Lewis is on Skype. There's no way in the world Ray Lewis is not in that locker room. Suggs is one of his biggest compadres. I mean, he's definitely Ray Rice's big brother. So there's no way in the world that these players are not playing every down thinking that Uncle Ray's not up there watching.
No, they got his voice in the helmet.
Yeah.
That's it.
It definitely.
I read somewhere the Ravens leave a seat in the locker room for every play, every type of play for Ray Lewis. Nobody sits there. He still has that presence in the locker room even when he's not there.
That's what it is. Definitely one of the best leaders. But I want to get onto this NFC East. The Giants are just hard this season. They're already out of playoff contention. So we can just skip past them right now. But the two teams that are still in contention, both took losses. Both took bad losses this past week. The Eagles lose to an Adrian Peterson-less Minnesota Vikings team, and the Cowboys, who were Cowgirls, who were up, let the Packers come back in. So we're still bobbling this thing back and forth as far as who's gonna win the NFC East, and it's just it's crazy right now what's going on. But what do you think, Statman? Who finishes with the NFC East title?
Well, last week, one of the questions that I lost shot for shot on, which is why I'm wearing this shirt, is that very same question. And I said the Eagles because of the fact that the Cowgirls' defense is so horrific. It's going to come down to that last game of the season. The Eagles still have the 1-game lead on them. And regardless, it's going to come down to that last game of the season. I think the Eagles are going to pull it off just because of the fact that Cowgirls' defense is so bad. One of the factors that Judge Tripp Young said was there's an Aaron Rodgers-less Packers, so that the Cowgirls will most likely get that win and catch up. Obviously, that didn't happen. So
the Eagles.
I think I shouldn't have to be wearing this.
The Eagles also lost to the Vikings.
But I didn't say that they were going to beat the Vikings, but I was saying that they have a 1-game lead and
need to, and then to not have Adrian Peterson there, they should definitely have one, and definitely not let them put up 48 points on them. But D, let me ask you this, because they're going up against a Bears team that's hot right now this coming weekend. Yes, the Eagles are. They have to get past the Bears in order to keep that lead. Do you think that they'll be able to get a win on the Bears this week?
I mean, I'm a New York guy, but I'm more of a player fan being from New York. So I definitely, as a Deshaun Jackson fan, I'm not taking the Bears over anybody at this point. I'm pretty sad what happened to Vic. Things happen. I want to see Deshaun Jackson get a ring. That's just how I feel on the matter. The Bears had their day. Dicker got his jersey retired. I don't hear anything about them for the rest of the season. That's just how I see it.
The Bears. But if you're looking for Deshaun Jackson to get a ring, even if they do make the playoffs, the Eagles, they're not getting out of the first round. Whichever one of those NFC East
either one of
teams
those
make it.
teams.
No, the Patriots are going to pick him up late round. It's going to happen next year.
Oh man, but I'm going against the grain here. I'm picking the Bears to win this game next week against the Eagles. I don't know what's going on with the Eagles right now. I mean, I do know what's going on. It's just the Eagles being Eagles.
Basically.
Yeah.
So, and the Bears are hot right now. Jay Cutler is back, and Brandon Marshall, he's trying to get back to the playoffs. And I think that the Bears have the best chance in that division. Because we still are uncertain of Aaron Rodgers' return, so they are playing for their livelihood right now. They're playing to stay in that race and to win that division. And depending on when Aaron Rodgers comes back, it may be too late. So
it's hard to put a corner or safety on those monsters of the midway.
And speaking of Aaron Rodgers, it was supposed to only be a 3-game injury, and this is going on 6 weeks now, I believe.
Somebody's hiding something.
Somebody's hiding something, or it's in your head. It's not always the injury be physical. I mean, the same way you say someone's losing with an Adrian Peterson Vikings, there are a lot of things going on in this guy's life. So he's playing through a lot of different traumatic efforts. So Aaron Rodgers may be like, I can't really push it that hard. It's a lot of times it's in your mind, man.
Well, the Vikings aren't a playoff contender. The Packers are. So So there's no reason for the Vikings to even play Adrian Peterson at this point. And the Redskins obviously not playing RG3 anymore because they don't want to really risk an injury with him. Adrian Peterson, the only thing right now for him to play is to rack up his stats, but that's not that important to him, especially with everything that he's gone through this year with the tragic loss of his son, which I actually spoke about on an episode with the founder of GDS, Dr. Gary Altheim, on a different show. And I just want to remind you guys, we spoke about it last week. We're having a charity event for this organization, GDS, Growth and Development Services, Saturday, January 25th at Bullmore Lanes, Times Square from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. For a $50 donation, you get 2 hours of bowling, food, beer, wine, soda, all included. The shoe rentals included. You can't even get that on a normal Saturday night if you wanted to have fun. So come out, have fun for a great cause. Growth and Development Services have been helping the children and the New York community for over 17 years. They have a Reach Your Potential model that has been proven success. Over 90% of the kids that they help go on to college and full-time jobs. So it takes them out of a very difficult situation. And if you want to find out more information about the event and about GDS, just visit our website, realfansrealtalk.com. And we are live on BronxNet Television. We are live every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on BronxNet Television, which is a local TV station in the Bronx. If you're watching us on YouTube, Cablevision 68, Verizon 34, but you could still check out the live stream every Tuesday by logging on to realfansrealtalk.com. Just go to RFRT Media, the drop-down menu, RFRT TV. It has the live stream as well as our archived episodes as well. On Sundays, we do our radio show from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. on the Blog Talk Radio Network and also archived on the iTunes Store and on our website, realfansrealtalk.com. So make sure you check that out. We also give reminders on Facebook, facebook.com/realfansrealtalk. And all our individual information, Twitter, email addresses are all on the realfansrealtalk.com website. I'm going to take one of the fan mail questions. Matthew from San Diego writes, should the NBA implement some kind of rule where you must play a minimum number of games in order to start in the All-Star, even if you have the fan vote? We touched on this on the radio show about Kobe Bryant and how he's most likely going to be an All-Star because the fans are pretty much voting him in, and he just started 5 games.
Yeah.
In those 5 games, he has 30 turnovers, which is the worst in the league since he came back. And he's obviously not an all-star yet. Maybe he turns it around before the season starts, but he's already up there in the shooting guard position. And I think he has Matthew had a great, question, and we feel that they shouldn't because there's other players. Curry's well deserving of that spot.
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul was getting it regardless in the point guard position.
I definitely feel it should be a selection committee implemented. I mean, you got a lot of players, even from the past, Yao Ming is always voted #1 center. I mean, it'd be a shame if they put Greg Oden as #1 center this year. So the fans, they have a place in the game. I know this is a really good game and the whole world is watching, but save that for the slam dunk contest, save that for the three-point shootout, for the shooting stars. I think the best of the best should be selected to play in the NBA All-Star game. That's just case in point.
And even in the slam dunk contest, Blake Griffin wins it for a dunk over a car, which wasn't even. That's also.
Because it becomes a popularity contest.
It's popularity, it's competition. A lot of people say they want LeBron to be an all-star, the slam dunk contest, but you got to understand, someone with the caliber of LeBron, it's not that he's scared to dunk. He can dunk from the half court if he wanted to, but who is his competition? Who are we going to think that can actually beat LeBron James to make this slam dunk contest?
If we had a LeBron James, Dwight Howard, Blake Griffin slam dunk contest, then it would make things exciting. Whoever you would think, if LeBron's going to win it or whatever the case may be, it's still when you have it star-studded like that,
Yeah.
I'd like to see LeBron, Russell Westbrook. If D Rose wasn't hurt, maybe he might.
Don't hurt my heart.
He might.
I might leave the show right now. You said that.
I think that would be a nice 3.
You know what? A wild card, I throw in J.R. Smith. People don't understand.
Well,
The
yeah,
boy can dunk.
J.R. Smith, he was
He's
in
a
the
bit of a
dunk
video
contest
game.
before, and
Well,
he
Paul George was
he
actually in the dunk
lost
contest before,
because
before
of
everyone knew who he
Birdman.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Birdman,
Birdman messed him up with them bad
Birdman
alleys.
took 67 attempts to make that
Yeah,
slam dunk
but
contest.
you know what? But that was J.R. Smith's fault.
Birdman.
Why would you pick Chris Anderson to throw you alleys?
It's J.R. Smith, man.
Yeah, he might have been doing some of those extracurriculars that he got caught doing before the
Should
season
have showed him
started.
dunking in the club.
This
He didn't
year.
want it.
But I think, getting the fans involved in these scenarios, the slam dunk contest, popularity contest, the All-Star game popularity, it's just, I think
you know what? For the
it didn't
for
used
the,
to be that way.
For the starters, it's fine with the fans, but I think that if they did do a minimum amount of games, that would kind of help the situation out because you wouldn't have somebody coming in halfway through the season and he's
But
automatically.
even if Kobe Bryant played a horrible season this year, he's still Kobe
He's
Bryant.
still a
well,
player.
yeah, I guess he was still, but. So we just got to see. I mean, I doubt they're going to change it anytime soon because you want the fans involved in the NBA because that's how you continue to expand on the brand is to have them involved and being active. And you got fans all over the world, so I don't think that they're going to change it. Yes, it sucks because you got a slight, certain players that should really be starting because they are playing the best, and that could actually potentially cost somebody a spot on the roster as well if they don't make it as a starter because then you have the too many guards or forwards or something like that, so you might even not make the team. But we shall see. But we do have a lot of NBA action going on. I guess we'll start with your Knicks stat, man. I don't know what's going on in New York. Raymond Felton is out now. Kenyon Martin is out now. Tyson Chandler should be coming back. Mike Woodson is not calling timeouts in the fourth quarter when he should to bring the ball up the court. Statman, what is going on with your Knicks?
Well, you mentioned Kenyon Martin and now Amari Stoudemire, my guy. He's going to be injured as well.
Well, he actually said he's not hurt, so I don't know because the Knicks are saying he's injured. He said he's not. So I don't know what's going on.
Amari Stoudemire has been mentally injured since 2009.
Now that I can agree with.
2009.
Well, I think you're off on the year, but
I'm sorry. When he left the Suns, that's when he hurt my heart.
oh, okay. So he mentally injured you then,
Yeah,
because he was playing good. Amari was mentally injured on the Knicks once we got Carmelo Anthony, and he wasn't that dude anymore in the Knicks. But they're complaining about minutes. Amari is complaining about minutes. Pablo Prigioni, Kenyon Martin. Now they're all dropping like flies when they're getting their minutes. So I don't know what to make of it. But Tyson Chandler is coming back, rumored to be coming back tomorrow for Wednesday night's game. And let's hope that happens because they really collapsed ever since their center went down, and they're not that great of a defensive team as it is. So to have the former defensive player of the year out, that's a drastic effect. And yes, it's not only that. I mean, if you're looking at the game, you're seeing all the other mistakes being made, but it's a key factor. If you have that presence down low, if you have that defensive presence, if you have that extra rebounding, it makes a huge difference where, instead of losing close games, they'll be winning by double digits. So let's hope that Tyson Chandler turns things around from a leadership aspect too and gets the team rolling back the way that I thought they were going to be this season.
yeah, because they definitely need some help. I can't even just blame all players because again, Mike Woodson, I don't know what is going on with him.
He's mentally
Yeah.
disturbed right now because
Yeah.
he's kind of on the hot seat right now
Yeah.
because they're looking completely horrible right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And
Sad.
yes, we could use the Tyson Chandler excuse, which is, the only thing he really has to go by, but he still has the scoring champ Carmelo Anthony out there. He still has
Well, I think it's a top.
But you have
five.
a
the
lot
sixth
of-
man of the year, J.R. Smith, who's playing horrible right
But
now.
you got a lot of guys out there, like you said, Carmelo and J.R. Smith, who are more ego-driven. These guys, when they're on a roll, they're on a roll. But you need those players who don't care about the fans. They don't care about. You need Kenyon Martin. You need Tyson Chandler. You need Meta World Peace. People who don't care about anyone in the fans and just play their game. Those are the guys who are going to offensive rebound for you, defensive rebound for you, and set up Carmelo so they can kind of get these games back on the roll. But I don't see anything positive happening for the Knicks until 2016.
They were looking at Kyle Lowry, but Dolan actually shut that down, which I'm glad that he did. Because I just didn't think that he would really help the Knicks situation.
What are they trying to get?
They are Kyle Lowry from the Raptors.
It involved made a world peace, and the first round draft pick is what shut it down. But it was made a world peace and one other player.
Yeah. Listen, if they got to give up a first round draft pick, it better be for Rondo. That's the only person that I would be cool with the Knicks giving up a first round
somebody
draft pick.
close to Rondo.
Yeah, that caliber of a player, because anything else is just crazy. Because Kyle Lowry, he's decent. He's not worth the first round pick, and he's not gonna be the guy to come in and turn things around and get them to the playoffs.
The next big trade for the Knicks is someone who they're going to build their team around, because you got Carmelo on the hot seat, you got JR, who's probably second in command, on the hot seat. I really don't see anything positive happening until you get another big gun out there that Carmelo's going to have to take the back seat until they start winning again and just kind of play back himself into his game.
Is he going to be accepting?
Like
of
I
that?
said, ego driven.
Because
Kenyon Martin would do it.
Because I'd like to see Kevin Love come to New York. I'd like to see Rondo in New York. I think that'd be a
Kyrie
very
Irving was another one that's
formidable
going to be
team.
a free agent.
With those three. If they were to get Kevin Love, I'd rather Rondo be on the Knicks, because his style of play, he's a pass first guard, and he plays. I'm not that Kyrie Irving doesn't play defense, but he sometimes plays lazy basketball, whereas Rondo is on 200 every time he steps on the court, and he'll set the tone as far as on the court, distributing the ball. He'll keep everybody happy, and he does the little things. True. He steals, he rebounds. He's somebody who is a potential walking triple-double any game of the week.
So one time I saw the Knicks and the Celtics play, Rondo triple-double, 22 assists. I spent $300 for playoff tickets. I wanted to leave. But I definitely feel Rondo's the type of player who would spread the floor. He'll rock teams to sleep, and Carmelo will get himself back into that group. He's not throwing up 25 shots a night, trying to get himself back on the front page on a good site.
I agree. Now, we spoke about Kobe, with the All-Star votes, but Kobe, and you mentioned a little bit, he is back. The Lakers are 1-4 now since his return. You mentioned he's leading the league in turnovers since he's been back. He hasn't hit the 25 mark yet, scoring mark yet. Unless you're talking about turnovers, he's hit those. But what's going on with Kobe, and how long do you think it's going to take for him to get reacclimated with the team, and for them to sort of build up a new chemistry now?
Yeah, well, he's basically doesn't have his legs fully there anymore, so he's trying to facilitate a little bit more. And that's basically what's causing it, because he is rusty. He's trying to get other people involved instead of being a shoot-only type of player like he used to be, because he's not at the caliber that he is. And that's what's causing the turnover. But they say to get the rust out, it's usually between 5 and 10 games when you're coming back. I'm going to say probably because of the nature of the injury, somewhere between 10 and 15 games before he's at a higher level. I don't think he's going to be at the same level that he was last year, but I think he's going to be playing at a much higher level between 10 and 15 games. But you got to admire him as one of NBA's all-time greats that isn't waiting it out. We talked about Aaron Rodgers before, and we talked, when we talk about Derrick Rose last year not coming back for the playoffs, which I agreed with, but at the same time, Kobe Bryant's somebody that, I'm not 100% right now. I know I'm not going to be the Kobe of last year, but whatever I could do, whatever amount of points I could do, I want to be there. The thing is, he's not helping. He's hurting.
I think the thing with Kobe more so, he's one of those players like you said, D Rose. It hurt my heart, but Kobe's going to leave it out on the floor. He's a player not going to kind of blend into the team and what they're doing now. He's going to have the team blend them back around him. So he's doing a little too much. He's being a point guard, which is something he really shouldn't be doing right now. But he's going to play until he feels comfortable again. He has to take a few more falls. He has to leap wrong on that foot until he feels like he's really back to where he's going to be and play at his better game. I mean, he kind of slowed his game down and transitioned back to a bit of a jump shooter the past couple of years. So of course, the age is catching up with him, but he's playing a little too much right now. He's going a little too fast for himself, but he'll catch up in a few more games, I feel.
Yeah, I definitely think that he will. Hopefully he can keep the turnovers down. And one thing about, when Westbrook and Rose, when they did come back, even though Rose went out shortly, but they weren't turning over the ball as much as Kobe. And, I just think that the chemistry when he's off the court with those guys, and when he is there's a huge gap, and it's gonna take, I think, a little while longer for them to really build up something and to understand what Kobe is going to be doing when he's on the floor and what everybody else's role is. I know Paul Gasol, because he's played with Kobe for so long, those two guys can fall back in a little bit quicker, but even they're struggling because there was a couple of plays where they just looked
Weren't on the same
completely
page, yeah.
out of sync, And Kobe even said, he said, I'm gonna have to bark on Paul Gasol in the locker room, about that. But it's gonna take some time. Listen, I'm not a Kobe fan, so I don't mind, but I do respect his will to come back, to be back on the court, and I think he understands that he doesn't have much time left, career wise too, so he can't afford to say,
He can
I'll
afford
take, well, he
$48 million.
financially he can afford,
yeah, but as far as
can
what
afford.
his goals are
to get that
pass,
sixth ring
yeah.
and whatnot, he can't afford to say, I'm gonna sit back. He has to, if he can play, and that's just how he's always been. He's gonna come on the court and he's gonna play.
Yeah.
So with that being said, though, Statman, I know you are getting tired of wearing your LeBron
Yeah,
thing
say no
T-shirt,
more. Excuse
but
us.
Hulk
listen,
Hogan it off. You got to Hulk Hogan that off.
No, because unfortunately you have to wear this
Yeah,
again.
you have
It's
to
a
wear it
little
again.
bit of a low budget, so we don't want
Yeah.
to spend a little.
Think positive, man.
I'm gonna have to call wifey boo Serena and see if I can get her to put a little bit more into the show. See if we can get another sponsor out of
Yeah,
my
but
baby
you had
boo.
that conversation with her. The next thing you know, you were arguing on Skype and everything.
Yeah.
We're trying to get work done.
Listen, it
like
happens.
Serena Williams.
Yeah.
No, I know. That's why I
Yeah.
looked at him like that. I
so-
was there when they met.
Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? D is the reason that I actually even
Oh,
met.
but he wasn't there at the
met,
wedding.
Met
That's
Serena.
why.
Well,
It was,
I mean,
We
I
had a
can't.
little bit of a fall now. Not me and
Yeah.
him, but he means Serena. That's a long story. Something
Yeah.
happened in
oh,
France.
no,
I won't get
I
into
know
it.
what
So,
you mean. I try
yeah.
to stay quiet sometimes, but I can see how that can
Yeah,
happen.
you see, I'm
Exactly.
switching over here. I'm thinking about it. Man.
Now, D, we got a little gift for you here.
Oh.
We got a little ref jersey we want you to put on, and you are going to judge myself and Mark the Statman
This is nifty.
Skevich as we battle it out in this week's edition of Shot for Shot. If you guys don't know, there's 5 questions, and the loser,
Smells
as you
great.
just saw, has to wear the team apparel of a team that they hate the following week, which is why Statman had to wear that LeBron James T-shirt. I've had to wear a Red Sox hat on occasion.
Bum James Hate Club.
Sean Fontaine has to wear his covered Eli Manning jersey when he's here. Shout out to Sean Fontaine, who's not here this week, but he'll be back next week for our Christmas episode. And we have a couple of surprises for you guys next week. We have a Christmas gift right from the Real Fans Real Talk team that we have for you next week. We're gonna give that to you guys. And I made a phone call to my buddies up at the North Pole. We might have a little visit from Santa next week, but I'm gonna hold out on that, and we'll see. But in the
It
meantime,
is Christmas Eve. He
yeah.
is a little busy, maybe.
so
we'll
but
see what
he does
happens.
watch the show, so we'll see what we can do. But D, if you would please, first question goes to Statman.
Starting here in 19. Well, I don't want to read the answer, then the question.
Which is
here.
worse?
Which is worse? Beautiful, beautiful. Which is worse, losing to the Vikings without Adrian Peterson or losing to the Packers without Aaron Rodgers?
I'm going to say losing to the Vikings without Adrian Peterson because, the Packers, they've shown that, they have a lot of other weapons. Minnesota Vikings, Adrian Peterson has been their sole weapon for years now, and he's not a one-man wrecking crew like Jamal Charles where he's leading in receiving yards too, but he is pretty much the heart and soul of that Vikings team. And on top of that, not only did they lose to the Vikings, they got annihilated by the Vikings without it, as opposed to the Packers where it's just Tony Romo and the Cowgirls in December and their horrible defense collapsing as always. So.
Romo being Romo, as I like to call it. Yeah,
Anthony, how you feel
definitely.
about
I
that?
definitely gotta agree with Statman on that. You let a running back who was playing high school coach last week. He was carrying a Gatorade for the guys come in and rush for over 100 yards on you. You let the
Yeah, but
Vikings.
Warner Boy did a pretty good job. Adam
Yeah.
Sandler, he did the good
Hey,
job, but not in this case though. But, yeah.
But definitely over 100 yards rushing, and they put up 48 points. A team that did not have Adrian Peterson, whereas with the Packers, they do have Matt Flynn, who knows the system very well, and again they still have other offensive options. So I definitely got to agree with Statman on that.
I think I'm gonna get at the stat, man.
All right, well, thank
I
you.
feel, I feel, I mean, I know, and you didn't have much to go on because you definitely agree with him, but he definitely elaborated
we
into
didn't
his
we didn't
answer.
explain the rules properly before. If we agree, no point is awarded.
Yeah, no point is awarded.
No pointers
No,
awarded?
yeah, only if
Oh,
there's
that
a
was-
disagreement.
Yeah.
Thank you,
all
though.
right,
I
I'm
appreciate
sorry.
that.
Flag on the play.
It came from the heart, though.
Flag on the
I
play.
do appreciate that. Other shows do it that way,
Yeah.
but we don't give an advantage to the person that goes first
Yeah.
because he can pretty much say all of it. Like we don't, there's some shows that gives 5 points for one statement.
Oh, yeah, I'm not hitting any buttons over here. I got you from now on. Next up, James Winston. Is he the best college football player in the country? Start over here with Mr. Young Trip.
I gotta say yes. Heisman Trophy winner for a reason. He led that Florida State team on a undefeated season, straight to the BCS championship game. If you look at his stats, his rookie season, it rivaled what Johnny Football did in his first year last year, and we all know this year he was better than Johnny Football, who a lot of people felt like was the best player last year, but he stepped it up, and that's the reason why he won the Heisman. So I gotta say, yeah.
Stat?
It's tough to say no. So I mean, the Heisman is awarded to the best player in college football, so it's hard to disagree with that. I mean, Johnny Football had his off-season drama last year, which affected his game this year, but that doesn't, the fact being it affected his game somewhat. He still had a great year. You could argue Johnny Manziel, but I'm not going to. I'm going to agree with Trip Young on this one.
All right, a lot of
I'd
agreement.
take away a point because you two didn't agree to disagree on that one. Should the Knicks trade?
I like how I like how D is looking at you like looking for a poker face too while you answer the question.
just trying to
He's
see
an
what's going
official
down.
judge, so
here.
official. All you need is a whistle.
And he makes up his own set of rules as he goes along.
Man law. Should the Knicks trade J.R. Smith?
I think they should trade J.R. Smith and Carmelo Anthony. Get back what we originally traded for Melo and the
Gallinari?
Denver Nuggets, but it was
Basically
a lot more
what they are,
It was
yeah.
a lot more than Gallinari.
Basically, the whole team they
They
traded.
swapped the team, different jerseys.
That's Denver Nuggets. But yeah, I'm gonna say you already have one player in Carmelo Anthony that wants to make it all about him and chuck up shots. Then you have the sixth man of the year coming off the bench and trying to do the same thing. Yeah, he was great last year. Yes, he could probably get out of it, out of this funk. But I think that if we could get decent pieces for it and have a little bit more depth, especially if we could get a big man, then I would say yes. It obviously depends on who you get, but if you get something worth it for J.R. Smith, then I say yes.
What do you feel, Ian? Should we still be popping champagne bottles in the locker room?
Definitely not. I think that, I got to agree with Statman. I think they should. One, he's expendable right now because Tim Hardaway Jr. is playing some great basketball, and I would love to see the Knicks give him more time because whenever he steps on the court, he can get to the basket. He does a lot of the things that J.R. Smith does, but he's better. He's more
Papa told him the fundamentals.
Exactly. He's more consistent, and he has that work ethic. So I would love to see him get more minutes. And again, J.R. Smith becomes expendable, and they need all the help they can get. They can use a big man. They need a good point guard. Just Felton is not getting it done. Prigioni I like him, but he's a backup. Udrich, the same thing. He's a backup. So yes.
I'd do a straight up trade for J.R. Nate Robinson. Call it quits. Here we go. You're gonna love this one, Stat. Should Tom Coughlin be the Giants coach in 2014?
Well, so it's on me this time, but and this is actually funny because whenever I say Tom Coughlin needs to go, the next year he wins a Super Bowl. So, but you know what?
I got friends in Vegas. Should you go?
it's been 10 years now, 5 playoff appearances, 2 Super Bowls. But at the same time, I think sometimes you need that change. I think it's that time that we need a new look in New York with the Giants. I think it's time for Coughlin to step down.
I agree that we need a new look in New York, but a new running back in New York, and that was the problem with this year. The Giants didn't have a running game, which is why they went into that 0-6 start. They started getting some of the running game going, which is why they almost became relevant into a playoff position. But it's not Tom Coughlin's fault. Osim and Yura, they gave up. They just let a lot of their pieces go, so he's not working with anything near what he was working with before, which wasn't even enough for most coaches to win a Super Bowl, and he managed to win 2 as an underdog in both years. So he's been working with a lot less and getting it done for the Giants. I don't really think you can find an upgrade, so I'm going to say yes, he should be the coach next year.
All right, you guys are way too chummy today. I need to award some points. Somebody disagree with me.
We
disagreed.
He said
I said he should go, and Statman says he should.
I'm so for shits. You keep going with the same agreement. You know what? I'm going to give that one to Anthony, New York guy. Hopefully he makes a change. Stay around.
So get rid of Tom Coughlin.
Yeah, make that change.
Chip Young has 1 point.
I definitely say, well, that's not my 2 cents to put in. We're going to Mac Brown here.
So apparently, obviously, you didn't even listen to what I said, since he just.
Hey, Manlow is down. Trip Young has the point.
The point's gone.
That's it. It is what it
Red
is.
flag.
Hey,
You agreed with everything I was saying, and then you thought that it was agreement.
I said that D makes
He's
the
gotta
rules as
go.
he goes along.
He's
makes
gotta
his own
go.
rules. So go ahead to the last question.
Mac Brown, ladies and gentlemen. Will Mac Brown's resignation help or hurt the University of Texas?
Hurt, because you got somebody that's been the head coach for 15 years, the face of the organization. But then again, I don't know. Tom Coughlin won 2 Super Bowls, and he's been doing a pretty good job with the Giants. And apparently, I lost on that question. So what do I know about head coaches?
You might get a point for that. Don't worry about it.
Oh man. You know what? I'm gonna agree, but it's different because this is college football. College football is a little bit different. You have those coaches that stick around for a long time. Mac Brown, I believe he only had 1 season where they didn't have a winning record there. And, kind of like, not to go back to the Penn State situation, but when you have those legacy guys who really done well, he's brought championships to the school, and it's kind of a different thing. Yeah. So I gotta agree. I think it's gonna hurt them. I think it's gonna take them at least a year before they get back to that dominance, maybe even longer than a year. So I gotta agree with Statman on that one.
Nice. Can I wear the jersey for the rest of the show?
Yeah,
I want to take and give away points as we go along here for no reason.
You can definitely wear the jersey.
I did lose this. I do want to throw the red flag out there on that question, like Tom Coughlin.
Oh, there's no flags.
Like Tom Coughlin does, who happens to be the best head coach in throwing the red flag, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. But let's get rid of him. He only got 2 Super Bowls. We didn't have any running backs. We had half our defense engine. Let's fire the head coach. That makes sense.
I mean,
hey, listen.
This is a replacement ref episode, so we missed that call, ladies and gentlemen.
It is what it is. But we definitely do have to move on. Thank you, D, for being the ref on this one.
Yeah, especially since you got the victory.
What I want you to do, I mean, listen, if you had got the victory, you might have, it's okay, but don't.
Well, he did give me the point on a point where it was supposed to be 0.
Well, I did. I decided with you.
Yeah,
but even though we both agreed, but that's okay.
Listen, I apologize, but don't get your panties in a bunch. We got to move on. We had a boxing match this past weekend. Adrian Broner was knocked down twice, once out of the ring. Marcos Maidana, he did what he said he was going to do, and that was when he took the belt. There's a lot of memes going on right now, all through Instagram, all through Facebook, of Adrian Broner. What do you guys think about Broner? What? How? Why? What?
I think the favorite one of the memes is the one that you posted on the Real Fans Real Talk Facebook group page, which had his father brush his hair while he's down on the rope.
Could you get my waves?
Could you get my waves, Dad? Can you get my waves, Dad?
Yeah. So and then he storms out of the ring. Unclassy, a little bit of an unclassy move.
I mean, he's a bit of an unclassy guy.
Well,
if you think about
exactly.
things.
So
In or off ring, but
it's one to compare him to the next Mayweather, like everyone was doing. We got that answer. We got that answer pretty quickly. Whether he's going to be the next Mayweather, because it's one thing to have that cocky attitude that Mayweather has. It's another thing to back it up like Mayweather always does. And Broner, he went up in weight classes. We discussed in detail on Sunday's Real Fans Real Talk radio show, which you can listen to on the archives on our website, realfansrealtalk.com. We went in depth about the fight, and Broner's the problem, and the problem was solved. And Paulie Malignaggi, who just came off of the Battle of Brooklyn, he said he wants the winner of that fight. I don't know whether that's going to happen, but it was interesting seeing him after that world premiere of Grudge match that myself and Trip Young went into. I'm going in to use the bathroom. I see Paulie Malignaggi coming out, and I'm like.
And he did have a new girl with him, so the one that Adrian Broner, I guess took from him, he managed to get a new girl. She was okay. She was kind of cute, not baby boos. Listen, baby, she didn't have nothing on you, but she was a decent looking young lady.
Wow, look at you! You get all defensive
every
time.
I do because
all those arguments are really getting to you with Serena Williams. All those Skype conversations,
wifey know what it is.
This is getting you whipped now, Trip. Trip getting whipped.
Hey, listen, the pay-per-view numbers are in. Well, at least the early numbers. They actually did do 1.3 million pay-per-view buys, which is still big numbers. So I guess Broner definitely can sell a ticket. I think he'll be okay going forward. He's definitely going to get more fights, but he has to do something different to kind of get back. Maybe he might need this to take it down a little bit.
I don't know. I think for Broner, the only way this will really hurt him if he does take it down a little bit. I mean, he just shows he's a fake. He's a poser. I mean, one of the best boxers ever. The executioner said after the fight. I mean, Broner, he basically lost fair and square. He ran out the ring crying, but. If he had 10 fights in the bucket before, he only got 7 left now because that really did really big blow to his ego.
Hey, and not to mention all them left hands.
All them left hands.
Kept getting hit by Maidana. In other boxing news, Vitaly Klitschko, he has vacated his heavyweight title. He has the one. His little brother Vladimir has all the rest of the heavyweight belts. But if at any point he does choose to come back, he will automatically get a title shot. If you guys don't know, he's getting into politics right now. He's running for presidency in the Ukraine. So he decided to step away from boxing. But again, if he does want to go back, he will get an automatic title shot for his belt.
It's also because he saw the Statman training. And,
he did.
I was going for the Golden Glove, so I saw that fight, that footage.
Canelo Alvarez will announce his next opponent within the next week. It will not, however, be Miguel Cotto, which I'm a little disappointed about because I did like to see that. But it's looking like Cotto will most likely now fight the middleweight champion Sergio Martinez. So that could be actually a really good fight.
I think a good one if they get it to fight. I mean, get it to happen with the weight classes. I'm not really sure. If you get Canelo and Bradley in the ring together, I think that'd be a really, really good match.
Yeah.
That would actually be a
really
good fight
match
as well. Especially after seeing that Marquez Bradley fight, I think that those two styles would make for a really good fight. Unfortunately, those three, Timothy Bradley wasn't on the list of opponents for Canelo, but maybe down the road, who knows? They did say, however, that a Canelo Alvarez and Miguel Cotto fight will at some point still happen. It just won't be his next fight. So we're just going to have to wait and see on that one. Statman, you want to tell us about the Rangers real quick? I know they had a shootout.
Well, before that, since we're on boxing, Ray from Atlanta writes in, it's looking like Amir Khan is going to be Floyd's next opponent. What do you guys think about this choice? I mean, I heard the rumors a while ago, and I kind of wanted it to be, either Bradley or Garcia, maybe. Mm-hmm. But, I mean...
Garcia's more likely. Myself and Dew actually talking a little earlier. Bradley is most likely not going to happen because he's signed to Bob Arum as well. Yeah. So that's going to, we can't...
What I would like to see.
Who's Amir under? Golden Boy? I thought he was under Arum too.
No, he's not under Arum. I know that for sure, and I know that Mayweather is not trying to help anybody.
Not at all. Any money in that bank.
Under Arum. If you leave Bob Arum, you can probably get a fight with Mayweather. Danny Garcia, I would love to see those two go at it. Maybe in September, though, because Floyd is going to be fighting May, September again in 2014.
Cinco de Mayo.
So since, it's looking like Amir Khan for this one, Garcia would be the bigger fight anyway. So I know last year, we had Guerrero and then Canelo. So maybe this year the warm-up is Amir And then at the end of the year, we'll get to see him fight Danny Garcia, another undefeated champion.
Where's Garcia hail from?
Garcia's from Philly.
Heritage.
He is, I want to say Puerto Rican.
Okay.
But don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too, but
Well,
I'm only 90%.
No quotes. No quotes.
Don't quote me on that one.
Because
but,
Mayweather is really strategic with that Cinco de Mayo, getting those buys in. So, you know, that works out.
Well, it's also Mayweather, like May, like
He
walks
out-
So it's his name. So
No,
that's
I
why
understand.
That definitely works. So listen, whatever the case may be, I'm down with the money team, and we're gonna keep.
I think it's
rocking
May
out
14th
like that.
is rumored to be the fight night.
I'll be in Vegas.
Shout out to Ray. Shout out to the whole Atlanta. You guys
ATL.
remember when myself and Statman we went down to ATL, so that's probably he began
Hot
watching the
Atlanta.
show from there. We were down there for WrestleMania.
A couple of years
So
back.
and we definitely, I know the Atlanta fans watch the show and they love the show. So shout out to Ray and also shout out to Matthew all the way from San Diego. We getting long distance on them.
There you go.
So shout out to both of those guys. Again, if you guys do want to write in, it's fan mail at realfansrealtalk.com. You can send us your questions, whatever you want, and we'll answer them on the show. We'll give you a shout out. You can also hit us up on the web at realfansrealtalk.com and like us on Facebook, facebook.com/realfansrealtalk, or you can join the group on Facebook and get into all the discussions that we have during the week. We're always posting up questions. Our fans post up questions in the group, and we'll go back and forth on Twitter at realfantalk. We interact with our fans all the time. And make sure you guys tune in to us on the radio live every Sunday from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. on the Block Talk Radio Network. Statman, you want to tell us about those Rangers? They had a shootout.
Yes,
they did have a shootout. The first one of the season.
It's the first shootout for the Rangers this season, and they ended up getting a victory. I was at the edge of my seat. It's not a playoff game, so I didn't really get a heart attack like that, but it's always exciting. A shootout is one of the most exciting things to watch in sports. It ended up going 7 rounds, which normally goes to 3 unless you go to overtime, which is kind of like what we do in Shot for Shot on numerous occasions. But the Calgary Flames are one of the worst teams in the West, so it's surprising that they even it even had to go down that far. But the Rangers had a 4-game losing streak. It's good to see them get out of that losing streak in any way possible. At the end of the third period, they had a 5-on-3 power play with a minute 21 with a 5-on-3 power play, and then a 5-on-4 power play. Couldn't get it done. They managed to survive in overtime, shorthanded for a period of it. It goes to the shootout. Very exciting, down to the wire shootout.
Now, what do you think? Playoffs? No plus. Is it gonna be too hard for them? To get back
They're
into
really
contention?
they're above the Islanders right now, which says nothing. So we really, we're dealing with a couple of injuries and the chemistry issues. We started off bad, then we started getting some chemistry going. I like to stay positive, but you got my Giants who aren't making the playoffs. You got the Knicks who are just horrible, and the Rangers are horrible now too. So it's not good for the stat man this year in sports.
At least you did get to wear your "It's a LeBron" thing. You wouldn't.
Oh yeah, because that makes it so much better. But let's, since this year's not good for the stat man, let's go back in time and we'll do this segment that we call This Day in Sports History. In 1944, the Green Bay Packers win the NFL championship. Not the Super Bowl, NFL championship at that time.
1978, the first and only 8th Division world champion, allegedly, Manny Pacquiao was born.
Happy birthday, Pac-Man. Pay your taxes. All right, you can't duck the tax man. All right, in 1991, the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Miami Heat 148-80 by a record 68 points. That's crazy.
That's a lot.
68 points.
That's the junior varsity score right there.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on in that game, but maybe they were partying too much.
Craig Elio's getting busy.
Yeah.
Letting it off.
They were out on South Beach the night before, rolling down Collins. And getting a little wasted, but that was This Day in Sports History.
Well, Miami got him back years down the road by taking their best players. So.
When LeBron took his talents to South Beach, I guess that kind of made up for that 68.
It took them 20 years, but they got their revenge.
You got sometimes you gotta hang on, But we do have another Clash of the Titans, which will be tomorrow. Speaking of LeBron James, they are playing the Indiana Pacers, Game 2
Big game.
of the season
The
at
Pacers.
home in South Beach. Who are you guys taking?
Well, the Pacers just got their first home loss of the season against the Pistons yesterday. Now that they lost, the Thunder are the only team in the NBA that is still undefeated at home. It's tough to go against Miami at home, but just for the sake of the fact that I hate them and I had to wear that LeBron James little shirt, I'm going to go and say the Pacers. I think they want to bounce back after their loss last night, so that's what I'm going to say.
You know what? I'm not even gonna be mad at you for that stat, man. D.
You're going to disagree with me, but
I'm
definitely disagree with you.
Yeah, that goes without saying. Who you taking, D?
I think I'm definitely going to go with the Indiana Pacers. I mean, you got an alien Dwayne Wade. I mean, LeBron's twisting his ankle, but he's still an alien. But as long as the Pacers are allowing them to slow down that pace, the Miami Heat love to run up and down the court, and they really have a chip on their shoulder. They got something to prove. In their hearts, they feel like the best team. Standings-wise, they're the best team. I'm definitely going with the Indiana Pacers.
All right, of course I gotta be the lone man standing. Yo, Sean Fontaine, where you at? I needed some backup this week, but I'm definitely taking Miami at home to win this game. They looking for some get back, and they gonna get it back tomorrow night in South Beach.
Bosh has to have a big game. That's how I see that happening.
Bosh got to be able to do something with Roy Hibbert. That's a big boy.
I don't know. It's a big boy.
So he's definitely is gonna have to step it up. I like what he did the other night. He was actually rebounding for a change.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Bosh Spice doing his thing.
I'm waiting for Greg Oden to come off the bench.
Exactly. But we are running low on time this week, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to tell you guys once again, make sure you check us out on the web, realfansrealtalk.com. We are on the radio live every Sunday from 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. on the Blog Talk Radio Network. So right in between your afternoon games and your night games, you can watch us. Facebook.com/realfansrealtalk. And for myself, Trip Young, Mark the Statman Skevich, and my man D Barnes.
It's been a pleasure, fellas. Thank you.
Make sure you guys check us out and get the information on the Rolling for Results charity as well with GDS, because we're doing it for the kids. And we will see you guys next week right back here live on BronxNet 68 with the Beta Award-winning Real Fans Real Talk, best TV series, by the way. So
we'll have that information for you guys to make your donations on the realfansrealtalk.com website right on the homepage very shortly. And you could also get, for additional donations, get autographed merchandise from various superstars, from LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier. The list goes on. Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, Patrick Ewing. Too many to mention. So
working on a Dickie Simpkins ball.
Pee Wee Reese.
We'll get that for you soon.
Yeah. From the Brooklyn Dodgers, we got it all on there. So it doesn't matter what fan you're a team of. If you want to make a special request, we'll see if we could accommodate that for a specific donation.
Are you still doing the autograph Mark the Statman Skevich jerseys? Is that going?
Well, that's a possibility. We'll see what happens.
But you can't,
maybe at the event, you get a free autograph from Mark the Statman Skevich.
See, what Mark doesn't like to tell you guys is he almost lost a scholarship in college because he was autographing jerseys and charging people like Johnny Manziel.
Well, you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Hey, get your money, Statman, but we will see you guys right back here next week.
Have a good one, everyone. RealFansRealTalk.com.
George Foreman, he's done it. Muhammad Ali has done it. The great man has done it. This is the most joyous scene ever seen in the history of boxing. This is an incredible scene. The place is going wild. Muhammad Ali has won. Muhammad Ali has won by a knockdown. By a knockdown. The thing they said was impossible, he's done. What he predicted to me in dear late, he has done absolutely and exactly. Here comes the replay. The scenes in the ring are incredible. Jim, you're
that once he cornered you, you're finished. And I kept telling you that he has no power. I kept telling you he don't hit hard. And guess what he did in the end? He started fighting dirty.
Right.
Yeah, you don't know his thumb got me in eye one.
Right.
Yeah. Right eye. But I'm smart. See, I'm a pro. I'm a pro, see. Right. I felt him with my arm reach and then grabbed him until I cleared up.
He's a pro, Allah's God, bro. That's the power of Allah.
That's all I couldn't get up. He hit him with right hand, couldn't get up. He ain't never got up. I kept talking to him during the fight, too.
Muhammad, congratulations.
Am I the greatest of all times?
Muhammad, you told me in Deer Lake you were the greatest of all time, and I think everybody out there watching now will say that you've proved it to
man who was bearing me up, too power, too strong. I proved that Allah is God. Elijah Muhammad is a messenger, and I have faith in them. And regardless of the world and the pressure, I made it an easy night because Allah has power over all things. And if you believe in Him, nothing, even George Foreman, will look like a baby. It wasn't a close fight, was it?